All right, let's go over our workout for today. This is gonna be a body weight approach. Now you can always add weight to any of these movements if needed, but I'm gonna tell you right now, body weight is totally acceptable to perform in this workout. You're gonna see that we're starting off with 3 different supersets. So we got 2 movements that we're gonna perform for 4 rounds. The first 2 movements that we have is gonna be our rear foot elevated split squat, and then our lying single leg hip extension. So let's go over our split squat first. What I'm gonna do here is I wanna start my setup on the ground. I wanna get my knee right to the ground, set myself on the box. Now I'm in a good position where I know I can start and I know I can reach full depth. If this box is too high and I have tight hip flexors, I'm never gonna reach the desired effect that I want from this movement. So don't choose too high of a box. But now that I'm set to perform my movement, I'm gonna go ahead and perform my split squats, nice and controlled. Now after we get our split squats, we're moving on, the split squats on both sides, we're moving on to the single leg hip extension. And I'm gonna go over 2 different variations of this hip extension. One's gonna be off the ground, which I'll perform with my foot on the ground, other foot straight out away from me, pushing that foot out away, and then shoulders back and relaxed. I'm driving my hips up to full extension, and then coming back down. Big thing here is that I have no arch in my lower back. At the top, I gotta tuck that tailbone underneath the body and squeeze at the top to ensure we're getting the glutes to do the work. Now we can make this exercise a little bit more difficult by just elevating that working leg. So I got my foot on the box, I'm driving my heels down, my other leg still straight out as I come up and perform it the same exact way as I would as if it was on the ground. So either variation will work. Find one that's suitable for you. The next superset that we have is going to be our walkout with clapping push-up, and now a sumo squat. So walkout and clapping push-up, now we're just going to add a clap to that push-up on the walkout, right? So I perform my walkout, legs are as straight as possible, get that clapping push-up, and then walk it right on back. Scale as we need, right? So maybe you're doing a regular push-up instead, maybe you're doing a push-up from your knees. Then you're moving on to that sumo squat. Big, wide, sumo stance. My knees are gonna push out in the same direction as my toes, because my toes are slightly pointed out. And I'm gonna control that rep all the way down, all the way up. Keep that control. Drive into the ground, push that ground apart with your feet. Increase that tension as much as possible. So those are our 2 movements for our second superset. The next one that we have is gonna be a core superset. We're gonna do our crunches and our lying leg raises. Talking about those crunches, not a big range of motion. Don't make it too big of a range of motion. We wanna focus just on those upper portion of the abs. We wanna perform my crunch. Big thing here is that we have a nice relaxed neck that's neutral. We're not driving our head forward, okay? So slow, control, same thing we've always been saying, upper abs. Now I'm going to the leg raise. Note the tempo, 3-second eccentric. So 1, 2, 3 on the way down before we come on up. We're never gonna have any gap between the lower back and the floor. So same thought with the hip extensions as with the leg raises. Tuck that tailbone, push that lower back into the floor on this one. So those are our supersets. Those are slow and controlled. Now we're getting into something fast, speed. It's not often that I tell my members to speed it up because I'll see faults in their movements, but these 3 movements are pretty basic, very general. We should be able to push the speed on them. So we're going 5, 10, 15. We got our 5 air squats. So we know our air squats, knock them out. We got our 10 mountain climbers. It's only 10 total. I like to go right knee to left elbow and vice versa. So I'm crossing the body on my 10. And then we got our 15 seal jacks, okay? This is 7 minutes of high intensity work. You'll want to start quitting in that halfway point. Don't. Keep the pace up. I want you in a puddle of your sweat at the end and have a good workout.